Well, continue with the DevExpress dashboard videos. Now that we already have a data source, we have other possibilities. For example, we can edit the connection. If the connection to which we usually connecting with this information is changed, so we come here and we make all the change according to what you want. If it is a user change or something, we can return here and change the information. Another thing we can do is rename it. For example, I put the employees for the example, but it must be the MBA. That could be the information it should have. Another thing we can do is delete it if we really add a wrong data source, right? Another important issue is the calculated field. Now we're not going to treat it in deep because we're going to make a video only for formulas, calculated fields, operations that allow us to have additional information. The idea of the calculated field is basically that if I have the data that I brought from the database and I need some information that I don't have, I can calculate it here. Okay? I can say, well, I want to have the weight. I don't know. And we're going to say the weight. We're going to put the weight here. Once that I have a weight, I'm going to multiply it, for example, by 5. Okay? And I'm going to put a name to this. What would it be if the players they have 5 times the weight, right? Then basically we could do mathematical operations, right? Operations, for example, aggregates, sums, average. Here we could have filters, operations with days, say, well, to this date, add me a few days or find me the first day of the month. A series of things, right? And also the logical operations. If such thing happens, that I would do, and well, those of mathematics. Cosine, logarithm, maximum, rounding, tangent. And from the string, that is, take me out a part of text and compare it to something. Convert it from uppercase to lowercase, etc. So that calculated fields, notice that the calculated fields appears here. Of course, I can see that it has. I can change the name. The data type says that it is an integer, for example. Here I'm going to put I don't know, a weight by 5. Well, basically after I have that calculated field here, I can simply use it for the dashboard. See how we're using it here. I can do many things with it. But of course, the calculated fields, as I told you, is going to be a video talking about formulas and all those things. You can see that here we can add another query. Like I said, from the same data, I'm going to see it differently. I add another query, for example. Now I'm no longer want the equipment, but I want the statistics to have it elsewhere. And I want to have, for example, the results elsewhere. Then I could add as many views as I want to my dashboard. And this will allow me to have different options to make different subjects. Well then, here is also an option called edit. Basically edit, what it does is that the data source that we have selected, the selected query, allow us to see what it has, what we have put in it. It allows us to change it. For example, here said, oh, we lack a field, and that was this, for example, the position. When notice that the position is already part of the information, so we can also rename it. Instead of equipment, we can call the query something else. Something interesting that we can do, apart from the fact that we can have made a filter of the data, we have the possibility here of filtering. create filters, saying, well, I only want the teams that start or end or that have something in the name, that the values are greater or less than such a thing. We agree? Here we can make infinities of combinations with the data we have. And the information, the filter that we're doing here, because it will be applied to the data that we have there without making any additional filter. That is, when the person loads the information, the filter will automatically be loaded and they will not have to make another filter because we'll have it preloaded. Here we also have to see many things because we can write the filter manually or we can select it from the list. Here we can select to which values the filter is going to apply, etc., etc. The last things we have here is that we can delete the query. This query. Remember that here the complete data source is deleted and on this side is just the query. Notice that it's divided. Data source is here and the query that is here. Remember that you can have more than one data source and also within that data source you can have more than one query. Thank you very much and until the next video.